I see quite a number of us have joined, and Saumik, you're right. This is the fun room, and we hope you're excited for the gamified experience. And a very nice picture coming in from UNDP Pakistan, where we have quite a number of colleagues in the room. Very good to see that.
Arnold, I don't think I've ever seen you or Fabian in a suit and tie, so I'm particularly excited about this session.
Yes, very interesting. Yeah. Okay, I think we're ready to start. Arilda, as soon as you're ready with the video, you can kick us off.
Crisis comes with questions. Which areas are impacted? How is the affected population experiencing it? What is the impact on people and infrastructure? Each year, disasters result in losses of over $148 billion. How do we reverse this trend? By leveraging new and innovative tools in crisis response and connecting these with rapid primary data collection and methodologies, this is Surge Data Hub. Countries need data that supports evidence-based decision-making. Through our global community of data experts, we are learning hands-on how to use data for crisis response.
We were immediately able to mobilize additional resources for Cash for Work, $1 million. We have implemented it, it's even finished by now.
Together with leading organizations and institutions, we are sharing new approaches to gathering and interpreting data and taking action based on that data.
So that really gave another voice to those people who would otherwise not have been able to express and reveal what they went through.
All right, greetings once again and welcome everyone to round 2 of UNDP's Crisis Academy launch. The fun and the games continue here, where we will be exploring some of the new and innovative approaches that UNDP is using to collect and interpret data in the face of crisis. And we will do this for the next 45 minutes through a gamified experience, as well as taking your insight and your questions later on in this session. A few reminders before we start. Please make sure that you are muted at all the times during this event. In case you have any question, you can drop those in the chat and we'll be addressing those. Most importantly, let us engage, not just on the chat. We can take the conversation further. You can find us on Twitter with the handle @surge_UNDP. And for those of you with corporate email accounts, you can also join our Teams channel, where we already have a community of over 1,000 professionals working with data in crisis settings. The link to that will be shared here on the chat. My name is Arnold Njogu, dialing in from Nairobi, Kenya, and joining me to take us through this discussion on data and emerging technologies in the face of crisis is our subject expert and team leader at Surge Data Hub, Fabian Lashi, and of course, warm acknowledgements to the team in the background who are supporting to ensure that things are running smoothly in this breakout room. That is Arilda Drayoshi and Maria Kokotova. Without further ado, Fabian, let's jump right into it. And you've supported quite a number of countries at various stages of their data needs during crisis settings. This year alone, you have been able to support over 20 countries in this work. What would you say is the one common thing that all these countries have tried to understand using data in these crisis settings?
Thank you, Arnold, and thanks everyone for joining this room. Definitely, as you mentioned, there are a number of countries looking for data. Most of them are interested to have satellite imagery analysis, because this is a kind of a quick and accessible way to observe from satellite imagery what are the damages out there. They would like to understand the damages caused in the private buildings or public buildings, community infrastructure in general. And in many cases, these information are not enough. So we go and do also the primary data collection, which is a very important way of going and asking in affected households, but as I mentioned, also evaluating damages in the hospitals, schools, and public infrastructure, as I mentioned before. And we definitely complement this information and data with social media analysis. Listening to social media, we try to understand the sentiment that is out there, the needs that people are expressing in different channels in social media, but also recently news feeds, and mining the text from different sources is absolutely something very important. So in a nutshell, as I mentioned, I ranked the very first GIS and satellite imagery, and through our other unit in UNDP, the ITM GIS unit, and also our partner, UNOSAT, that I'm going maybe to explain a bit better later, we access very high resolution images. In the case of UNDP, we have 30 by 50 centimeters high resolution images that we can, in a global coverage, see damages before and after a crisis hit. Over to you, Arnaud.
Yeah, very interesting. And from these traditional primary data collection methodologies that you've been leveraging, you've already mentioned a number of new approaches that you're looking into. For example, social media analysis, satellite imagery analysis, newsfeed listening. What additional value do these approaches have in transforming the information that they give into actionable response on the ground during this crisis context?
Yes, exactly. By using these new technologies, we intervene faster, definitely, and more accuracy, prioritizing better our interventions to inform the decision-making units to address most pressing issues earlier, what is the very and the most important thing. In addition to our access to the high resolution images, as I mentioned before, offered by UNOSAT, well, within the first hours after the crisis hit, or an additional tool that we have developed recently, the Nightlight intensity variation before and after the event. We acquire images from NASA for this technology, let's say, that we're using. The other tool, the machine learning, that now by accumulating a number of data sets from different crises and disasters that comes from hurricanes or earthquakes, but also hostilities and conflicts. We, with the data we own, we have developed now a machine learning that can predict humanitarian needs based on the first data that are coming. For example, in Ukraine, we did this by having the ACLED images reported explosions and events in the field, and by using Syria, let's say, conflict data, we tried to simulate this and to understand earlier, as I mentioned before, the needs that are out there for the people, affected people. So, as I mentioned before, they create a clear picture of where data gaps exist and inform us what type of data we need now and where to prioritize, where to start the survey. And as you note, we are lucky to have a great number of partners that empower us using the latest technology and the most advanced tools.
Mm-hmm. And I think I just want to pick it from exactly where you've left it on the partnerships. You've already mentioned some partners like the ITM unit, which is UNDP's GIS support, and you've also mentioned UNOSAT. Who are some of the other partners that you're working with? And what kind of data are you getting from them, and are you sharing with them? And why are these partnerships especially important in crisis settings?
Yes, definitely. As I mentioned, partnership is instrumental to access and leverage the latest technologies. We definitely are a small team, and we have a high demand. More than 140 countries that do have representative offices at UNDP asking for different things, as I mentioned. In order to be at the latest and cutting-edge technologies, we have to rely on our partners that do research and come from academia sometimes, or are specialized in specific fields like UNOSAT. I can mention here one research institute that we collaborate, and we are now running a training course the social media analysis in crisis settings. That is the Qatar Computing Research Institute, or QCRI, as we call it by acronym, which is an excellent research institute based in Qatar, and is supporting UNDP with the next generation learning courses and share with us their research and tools to respond to crisis. As I mentioned before, UNOSAT is definitely one of our main sources. Immediately after the crisis, they start doing the analysis on the observed satellite imagery using sometimes artificial intelligence, especially for flooding. And we get these images. These are the basis for us to do geosampling for a crisis of a certain magnitude, let's say. Or we use these images to inform immediately and prioritize our immediate action in the field. So despite this, I have also to mention a very good, let's say, partnership we have also with another unit in the Crisis Bureau, in tandem with them, with the Crisis Risk and Early Warning team. We are mining a significant amount of data using pipeline infrastructure, data pipeline infrastructure for mining data from different sources. And together, we are running the first introductory training that we did on social media, and now the second one that is coming exactly next week, next Monday, the intermediate social media analysis in crisis settings. So this is a bit the overall picture of our partnership and collaboration internally.
Thank you very much, Fabian. Quite a wealth of insight already being shared. And thank you for that teaser on the training that's coming up next week on intermediate social analysis, social media analysis. Looking with one eye on the time, why don't we dive right into the gamified experience for colleagues to be able to understand a bit better on why data in crisis contexts. Over to you, Fabian.
Exactly, thanks. Now it's time to play. And as I mentioned at the beginning, also here we are going to have our game. The rules are almost the same for those joining immediately during the other session, the first session. So basically, playing the game, we are going to click the link in the chat that Arilda kindly offered to us, put your name, and after that, click start, the big green button, right? So as usual, in order to connect the accounts between what you are going to submit here and earn points with the dashboard that you have been registered in the crisis link, we are asking you in the very first question to enter the email that you used for registration. So just giving a minute, we have 45 people joined already. Rather, we are 94 here. So please click the link and in your browser, put your name. I see numbers are coming up, 58, 59. So yeah, let's start. So the very first question, more than a question, is our connection with the two accounts in order to make sure that the total amount of points come to your account. I see a good number of people that already submitted the email. For the next question, I do suggest to be also quick, and because being faster than others, even though both have found the right answer, matters because will rank you in a better position. So it's a matter of speed and accuracy. Other here, just submit the emails. 73 in the game. Few seconds, don't forget to click submit. All right, time is up. So we are ready to start the game. Let's start with the first question then, the real one. Okay, so good quality data in crisis context helps in the following way. You can select one or all that apply. I see answers are coming. Let's feed. All right, so time is up. Thanks for submission. I think most of you submitted in time. We have a bit of ranking, is temporary, definitely. Most of you have found out that yes, all basically are correct answers. They are true. Definitely they provide a clear picture of crisis impact. This is the main purpose why we do, because we need to understand how people are impacted, how households, but also how buildings, infrastructure, and not only. Also, for example, as I mentioned, the sentiment that is out there, what people are feeling, and all the development that are happening in the country after a certain event happens. Provides a clear picture of recovery needs. Yes, not only for UNDP. In a lot of cases, we share the data also with other UN agencies. The UN country team owns this data. We usually go in consultation and with a clear buy-in from the UN country team and also governments, local governments of the specific country. So they will own this information to write the recovery plans or to target any specific area, geography, or let's say population community in order to ensure that no one is left behind. The vulnerable communities first being served, and also the long-term recovery, how to build back better. Provides a clear picture of capacities. Yes, definitely we need to understand, for example, in the case of the earthquake in Albania, we wanted to understand how many people needed tents in order to get a temporary shelter of the damaged houses. And not only from this perspective, like logistics, but also understanding how many people are out there to go and, for example, do the installation of these tents and so on. So guides policy decisions to leave no one behind, as I mentioned before, very important point. And the data are owned, as I mentioned, to not only to UNDP, but to the partners, government. Let's go for the next question, Arina. So, awareness and understanding of the available tools and techniques to collect, and what is the missing word? Crisis data can help us to better prepare for response to crisis. You have to submit a single word. I'm just giving a hint. Don't go for long sentences. See that most of you are answering. Already answered now. Yeah, still time. Don't be demotivated. Ten seconds. Make sure to submit. Is up. So thanks for the submission. And we see the leaderboard. Well, some are placed quite good. I see that 52 has already found interpret. And we have some that have submitted incorrect answers. Well, sometimes maybe a typo issue can be a bit tricky. Also, speed matters, so I fully understand. Or maybe others have put analysis that is still a valuable answer, or visualization. In many cases, we use data visualization for taking decisions to better prepare the response in the pages. And a number of other choices that can be synonyms of interpret. So thanks. I think this is good. Without further ado, I think let's go for the third question. I mean, the last one. Here we are. We are going to drag and drop. During crisis response, we have access to different types of data. Match the data type with data source. Drag and drop. So you can be color boxes. You can drag them and place whenever you think they fit better. Okay, some champions already submitted. I hope they did it well. Okay. This can be a bit tricky, but I'm pretty sure that you'll do very good. All right. I think most of you submitted, yes, 60 out of 79. It means little, few seconds. Mm, 8 seconds, submit. Here we go. Time is up. So this is quite interesting match, because a lot of people sometimes do confusion between terms and who owns this particular type of data. I see that, yeah, there's a kind of a mixture. As I mentioned, it's a bit challenging, definitely. So if I go and explain a bit, that is the certified standardized data for us are census data. Census surveys. They are like the Bureau of Statistics or Instats across the globe. They own the type of the methodology, the sample, and the accuracy of the data in order to certify the standardized data. And the UN data, while we have done a number of webinars, and I hope some of you have joined, some development indexes, Human Development Index is, let's say, a flagship tool of UN and UNDP specifically. So when it comes to these type of indexes, as well as the multi-dimensional poverty index or the multi-dimensional vulnerability index, and a number of indexes are owned and, let's say, implemented by UN. And then we have new and real-time data. I think here is kind of half and half. People may have got a bit confused, because we do consider satellite imagery and social media new and real-time data. And then is the administrative data. A lot of people make a bit of confusion about this, because they consider that certified standardized data and administrative data are the same, but usually administrative data are records that governments use for managing, for example, taxes for citizens, or social aid and other typology of things, or government records. This is a bit the explanation. And of course, if you have reflections about what I'm mentioning here or questions, I'm very happy to answer your questions. Let's see now, Arilda, how is the ranking? It's coming up. Wow, we have a lot of people that found all questions right, 100% accuracy, but only Lina Gonzalez is classified as the first, quicker. Arun is the second one. And Search Pakistan, the colleagues in the big room, they did the teamwork, I guess. Yes, very good. Great results. So maybe Arnold, if you'd like to have some key takeaways about gaming and what we mentioned so far.
Thank you very much, Fabian. And once again, a lot of hearty congratulations to Lina, to Arun, and to the team from Search Pakistan for the outstanding performance during the quiz. And as Fabian mentioned, this will be added to your Crisis Academy leaderboard, and you'll be able to see where you stand. Some key takeaways that we have so far from all that we've mentioned is that Search Data Hub is helping UNDP country offices to provide governments with human-centered data for evidence-based decision-making that ensures no one is left behind during crisis response and recovery. And we are all better prepared to respond to crisis when we have the right data that provides a clear picture on the crisis impact and the recovery needs. And not only that, but also knowledge on how to transform the data to policy decisions that leave no one behind. Each year, disasters are resulting in losses of about $148.5 billion over the past decade, and implementation of efficient responses to reduce these losses is better informed by near real-time data obtained from both traditional and new and innovative sources. Moreover, awareness and understanding of the available tools and techniques to collect and analyze this crisis data will ensure that people are better prepared to act when a crisis hits. And finally, this data can give us a clearer view of crisis indicators such as geography, as Fabian had mentioned, sentiment and vulnerability of the affected population, and displacement statistics, among others. At this junction, I think it's good to hear from you as well. And before taking questions from the chat and handing over to Fabian to be able to moderate that, I see that we have a number of colleagues and partners that we have collaborated with in the past, and I'd like us to hear from them. And we will start with Aisha. Yes, Aisha Sheldon, who is a GIS analyst at UNOSAT. And UNOSAT is the United Nations satellite program, which is mandated to provide satellite imagery analysis and capacity development on geospatial information technology to the larger United Nations and member states. Aisha, you have collaborated with the Crisis Academy through Search Data Hub in training on satellite imagery analysis during crisis settings. In summary, maximum 2 minutes as you're sharing your experience during this training. Why do you think we should continue investing in having ready capacity to leverage these social media or social satellite imagery analysis techniques during crisis?
Thanks, Arnold, and thanks, Fabian. It's great to be here in the session. As Arnold mentioned, I'm working at the United Nations Satellite Center. We work on operational mapping and capacity development, and just recently celebrated the 20-year anniversary. So it's really exciting to be continued working within the field and to be expanding and working together. So as many of you might know, UNOSAT provides on-demand satellite imagery analysis within different crisis and humanitarian situations. We have our emergency mapping service, which provides on-demand data to support different member states and UN agencies in crisis and disasters by providing geospatial and geolocated data such as damage assessment, population exposures, hazard extents, it be flood, landslide, anything along those lines. And these products captured from space applications analyzed by UNOSAT can help to provide an overview of what's happening on the ground during or after a crisis. In many situations, crisis can unfold rapidly, and it can be difficult to have field teams sent in, or it can be dangerous in some situations. So satellite and space-derived data can provide and to help form an overall picture of what's happening on the ground. And this can then drive data-driven decisions, such as maybe where populations are exposed or affected, or where aid or supplies is needed to be sent. So it can be used, to drive data decisions, and to also provide a picture of what's going on. We have been undertaking several different very high resolution damage assessments recently, especially, and these provide a very large extent of the summary of damage, how much is damaged, and also then to provide a comprehensive review that humanitarian agencies and assistance can then be focused. So this we have been doing recently, and through the UNOSAT emergency mapping service, we provide all the data available online so that people can utilize the data, download the data, and analyze the data. So this is why it's really important that there is capacity at the local and national level to be able to leverage the data that is out there to maximize the potential. And earlier this year, we did the collaboration together with the UNDP Surge Data Hub with the training and building capacity within, between the agencies.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Aisha. Really strong points, and emphasizing again what Fabian has been talking about using this data to drive decisions and being able to get a picture on what is happening from these innovative sources. One other partner that we've been working with is the Qatar Computer Research Institute, or QCRI, who are among the global leaders of computing research in social media analysis. And we've worked with them in several cases to use this for positive impact on both people and planet. Unfortunately, the colleagues from QCRI could not join us, but we have a video that has been shared by Dr. Muhammad Imran, who is a colleague there, on his experience collaborating with the Crisis Academy through Surge Data Hub trainings. Let us hear what he had to say. Arilda, please bring up the video.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks a lot for the opportunity to say a few words at this very important event. First of all, I would like to congratulate UNDP for launching the Crisis Academy initiative, a very important one. What I personally like about this initiative is its focus on collective intelligence to understand and deal with the complexity of crisis and foster sustainable development. Well, the relationship between Qatar Computing Research Institute and UNDP dates back several years. Both organizations have collectively worked together on various fronts, ranging from capacity building to crisis understanding through data, as well as helping in crisis response. One of our recent and ongoing collaboration with the Surge Data Hub team at UNDP with Mr. Fabian Laschi and Ms. Gaia is to provide training on social media data analysis using artificial intelligence and machine learning to different participants from country offices. This course has received high participation from around 30 countries, and I think this is a fantastic outcome. I would like to congratulate the Surge Data Hub team on this achievement. Well, moving forward, I would like to reiterate QCRI's commitment toward capacity building, knowledge sharing, and helping UNDP country offices during real disasters using data from unconventional data sources and innovative technologies. Thank you very much.
Well, those are words from Dr. Muhammad Imran from QCRI. We've already heard from two of our partners, and I think at this juncture, it's important to hear from one of the participants who've joined our trainings on how exactly the experience is like and what impact this has in their work within their country offices. One of those colleagues is with us here, Marie Florence Ningam from Chad Country Office. She's exceptional. She's been able to participate in all of our trainings this year. Marie, let me put you on the spot, and could you just kindly share with us your experience in taking part in these trainings and maybe share a little bit on what impact this has had in your work with the country office?
Thank you, Arnold. I'm sorry, I have a low bandwidth, so I will not use video, okay?
No problem,
Thank
Marie.
you. So thank you for giving me the floor. I'm Marie-Florence Ningam from Chad, Central Africa, and I've been working with UNDP Chad for 5 years and 2 months as an ICT associate. I've discovered Surge Data Hub during last year while looking for new paths in my career. We live in a world subject to climate change, disaster, political crisis, and so on, and it's important to have tools to learn and know what to do in crisis situation in order to support the affected population, to drive decision-making, and from there to help in post-crisis recovery. My first course with Surge Data Hub was Household and Building Damage Assessment, HBDA. I have learned notion on HBDA, what is it, how to prepare for it, methodology, and assessment design, data collection, and also data analysis. The first course pushes me to want more. So I've jumped in a few months ago, a month after, and attended the HBDA intermediate training. I'm waiting for the advanced training to continue to go deeper in that subject. Looking for and having relevant data is very important in the aftermath of a disaster. That is why you find courses on satellite imagery for crisis assessment and social media analysis. The aim of these topics is to provide reliable quality of information for good data analysis and good decision making. These courses have helped me a lot to better understand the data and its usage. My country is currently facing flooding in the city capital and other towns. So I will be associated with UNDP colleagues along with UN team to conduct the PDNA. The knowledge I have gathered through Data Search Hub will help a lot. I can't finish without talking about Data Thursdays. It happened every Thursday for 1 hour and during my lunchtime. So I cannot attend all the trainings, but the recordings are available if you can't attend the live session. I'm also learning a lot during this session on data standard, data management, and so on. The panelists are coming from diverse organizations and help a lot in explaining concepts and sharing knowledge and good practice. My final word will be congratulating the team for the good job. And I have a plaidoyer that will be to have few sessions in other UN languages. So thank you. Over.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Marie. Very strong words, very encouraging words from you right there. And very interesting to see the kind of appetite that colleagues have for taking these trainings, especially related to data in crisis settings. At this juncture, I'll just hand it over to Fabian to tackle some of the questions that you had asked before on Video Ask, and also to address some of the questions that you've already shared here on the chat. Fabian, over to you.
Yeah, thanks. Well, we had also the Video Ask, and thanks for some of the colleagues that have submitted some of the questions. Well, let's start with the first one. Ali Abdullah is asking if we are running the training also in other languages other than just in English. And there are good news. We have the essential training. We are working to translate this. We have done ad hoc trainings in a number of countries, especially in French. I can mention here Madagascar, but also other countries. Now, recently in Togo and also in FAB, if I'm not wrong. Then we have also done a number of trainings in Spanish. When I say ad hoc, are not like the formal training we are talking here, but country offices organize with us and their counterparts, the partners in the field. that sometimes are governments, Institute of Statistics, or other UN agencies. And we have done this type of training in specific languages. In Spanish, in Latin America, we are very popular. We have 2 members of the team that are quite fluent because they live in Latin America and have delivered a number of trainings in Spanish as well. And also in the past, we have done trainings in Arabic. So for example, for Syria, we did this and also other cases. So the formal trainings are mainly in English. We are working to also add other type of languages, let's say. But the ad hoc trainings, meaning when a country office has a specific need, we also run specific trainings in their language. So the answer is yes. Then I have a nice question from Enzo Bukhara, that is also here. Thanks for joining, Enzo. Yeah, I mean, he's asking what type of tools we use with this all challenges we have, like GIS, and then statistical information elaboration, and then data collection, data visualization. Well, we tend to go for the open source first, or well-known tools for humanitarian development agencies like the Kobo toolbox. But recently we have been using also the ArcGIS tools, the Survey 123, because they tend sometimes to have more additional features that we, for example, use as base layers, Unisat shape files that are coming from GIS analysis, and then build on top of that, as I mentioned, geosampling, and also prioritize the data collection in the field. We use Power BI, a tool that UNDP ecosystem, let's say, use and owns, licenses most of us. We find it like easy to disseminate information, but we have been also using other data visualization tools, mainly open source, in cases that, for example, governments are looking for this type of dashboards. And then we use now pretty much Python scripting, because that is like the new reality. If you like to do advanced analysis, Python is our best friend over R. I have to say, for those that are technical may know the R programming language, but we have found Python to have like enough libraries and easy to be used. And for this reason, we're using Python also for the next social media analysis training. And it is coming like a standard tool for us. And then for more advanced analysis, startup, and other tools that are more into the statistical field. Well, I have a last question that was asked by Arun, if we are thinking about a kind of a normal, let's say, in agreement about the files, how to store the data. He mentioned HXL, but I can mention also XML, I can mention CSV. Mostly, we are trying to have the data in such a format that are easily uploaded in the Unified Data Hub of UNDP, an infrastructure that is built at the headquarter level, but soon will be in use and accessible for everybody at UNDP. But also, we are trying to take care about having this information also shared with other UN agencies, UN OCHA, the Relief Portal, and usually we go for CSV there because that is, at least for now, the standard, the common separated value type of file. But in any way, we make sure that data can be uploaded easily in SQL. Well, to pick some of the questions from the chat, I see that most of the questions are addressed by my colleague Maria. Anyway, I'm going through it. Thanks for a lot of questions and nice ones of them. Well, the idea is, one of the questions was, have we used Twitter? Well, Twitter is one of the tools that, lucky enough, at an easy and accessible way of mining the data, but also analyzing this data. We've used in several cases, as I mentioned, in partnership with QCRI, but also ourselves. We are using also Facebook data, and Facebook Data for Good, which is the philanthropy part of Facebook, is absolutely a quite interesting tool that if you have not explored, I strongly suggest to start asking for an account. UNDP has an agreement with Facebook Data for Good. to access this type of information. But as I mentioned, we are not stopping here. There are a number of other data sources, news that are coming from different countries, for example, are quite interesting also to be mined. And I think that we are approaching to the end because, as you know, we are going to the main room, having a little break, and then waiting for the administrator, I think, that is coming to greet us for this initiative, and also the CAS Bureau Director. Over to you, Arnold, for any other thing.
Thank you very much, Fabian, and thank you to all of you for all the questions that you've been able to share. Please, again, join our Teams channel. We will be addressing the questions that we have not had the chance to address in this session. We'll be addressing those there. Thank you to all of you for creating a wonderful session. This room will close shortly, and we will be directed to the main room. We urge you not to leave that. For the next 10 minutes, we'll be taking a break. And after that, at the top of the hour, we will be having a ceremony where we will be hearing from the UNDP leadership about our future forward approach to crisis. Please feel free to turn on your camera, say bye-bye as you leave the breakout room and join the main room. It's been a pleasure having all of you here.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.